Silent Music.
Okay, I'm Herbie Chapman. It wasn't that long ago, well, 30 years ago, before I wore these progressive lens bifocals, that I told this joke, probably on the front of the bus. I grabbed a microphone and I sang a little ditty that goes like this. I went out this morning, I was gathering the eggs. Sun was shining, I was feeling fine, till I dropped my chewing gum out in the hen house. I thought I found it 2 or 3 times. Little chicken joke. Thank you very much.
Pick up my clarinet whenever I can. Last time I was Easter with my father playing the piano, and he's playing the clarinet.
What's your name?
My name is Corky Lee.
And what were you on the Rodgers tour?
Well, I was the stage manager of the tour.
And did you stage manage a tour the year before that too?
Yes, I did. I stage managed quite a number of Young American tours that went out.
How many?
A lot.
Well, that's too many after Rodgers.
Yes.
Yeah. And even though this tour before, West Side, was so violent, really there was much more bloodshed on the Rodgers tour, correct?
Well, there was more real bloodshed on Rodgers than there was on West Side, yes.
And some of your own blood was shed, right?
Yes, there was a time when we were up north, Northern California, I believe, and the curtain got stuck, and so I ran backstage to try to free the curtain, and as I was pulling it, the batten came out and came straight down and hit me right here in the head and knocked me out, and there was blood everywhere. But I was so proud of my cast because one thing I taught them, no matter what, the show goes on. So they literally just kind of stepped over me and the blood and went out and finished the show. And I love that. I could have died, but the show went on.
And even the ones who helped him came out in the next number with blood all over their clothes, right?
That is correct, yes. That's showbiz. See, I love that.
And it's over my neck. It was over my neck, and my bra is showing.
Yeah, you had on a
My
slip.
bra is showing. I had a slip on, and I just went.
On stage during the tour of Rodgers, had to go to West Side.
And then I thought, how do we play this? How do I play it?
Where are we going?
And I would play. I said, what would Carol Burnett do? And I remember playing it Carol Burnett, kind of going.
We're just gonna go for it. The show goes on.
And your face, I remember. You look at the audience and go, like, is this really who I'm supposed to be? And I remember you playing it great because you look like, okay, this is my princess.
This is what I get.
That's awesome.
Here, yeah, I know it. You've been stuff out here? Well, they put the...
So we want to talk to you about the night that Richard Rodgers died.
The night Richard Rodgers died while we're on tour. So as Jill
And this
came
was
out...
in Berkeley, maybe?
I think, you said
Was
Berkeley.
Berkeley.
All I
I don't
remember
know.
is that
It was Berkeley.
Jill came out to set the picture on the piano,
Yes.
and it fell over. And when she picked it back up, it cracked.
And then, through one of the major dance numbers, we're off stage, and I don't remember what the cabling was, but Chris Haberman fell into, or at least fell partly into the electrical cable box and injured her elbow. I tripped and fell. I was out,
Right.
and I actually, believe it or not, I think something happened to Mindy, although I don't think she says it was that night.
Right.
And then, so how many more people? There was...
I want to say there were like 3 or 4 more people out.
But, oh, now I remember. But at the end of the show, there's the scrim. And they opened the back doors of the stage where the ambulances were, and the
Right.
ambulance lights were like flashing on the back of Oklahoma.
Because there were like 2 ambulances there to pick up the kids that had fallen apart during this one evening. I know. And it was our salute to the man that gave us that show.
Yes.
I thought it was fabulous.
Yes, it was a very good going
But there
out.
are other memories that we both remember.
Oh,
that
what
we
are
both,
they?
There's tons.
Oh, this is not fit for consumption, right?
Oh, no, it is.
Okay.
It's all fit for... Well, you go.
No,
you
no.
tell
Okay,
me.
nobody seems to think I'm telling the truth here, but there was a vomit incident. We were in Indiana. Yeah, I've had too much wine.
We didn't know where we were half the time.
And there was a bucket that we left out in the hallway. And the high school that we were at, a student had thrown up in the bathroom, so they used our set prop to clean up the vomit. And then when Renee went out on stage, they gave her this bucket. And since they gave it to her in the blackout, she's there singing, "Do I Hear a Waltz?" And she's ringing out the and it's like she said, it's like smelled like vomit. So, but the problem was that then she had to dance in a circle around with all the guys. So by the end of that number, all the guys had vomit
on their hands. I remember that.
So yes, I remember the vomit incident.
And the Jackie Goucher story where Renee actually, I don't know if anybody's told this, well, at one point, Renee ran backstage to put hairspray in her hair, and there was Jackie's hairspray right there. Jackie Goucher, a black woman at the time using what not Easy Flow Glow or Afro Sheen. It was pure glycerin, baby. Nothing but oil. So Renee sprayed it in her hair, and the next thing you know, she ran out to sing, and her hair went all down, and it was all grease. Nothing but grease all over her. And she was like going, "Jackie, what was in it?" She went, "Glycerin."
Oh my
Nothing
God.
but oil. That was fabulous.
So those are some of the stories.
Those are some
there
of
are
the
actually
stories.
quite a lot of stories that took place at hotels and such, but we won't get into that.
Right. And
So-
there's a lot of stories that happen, but I would say after 30 years for us to even remember any of this is a testament to everybody that was on this tour, on how great everybody was and how beautiful everybody was.
Yes, absolutely.
And look at this man who has not changed 1 second.
Oh, yeah. Maybe on the outside, but some things don't work quite the way they used to.
No,
but
your
anyway.
soul is still the same. Your soul is still the same, baby.
So we love you.
We love you and thank you. Thank you, Evan Pyre.
Yes, thank you, Evan.
All right, so I guess I'm supposed to come up with a funny story for the Rodgers tour. You know what? I have more heartwarming stories than funny stories. I guess the funniest one for me would be the day that Renee went on for, the Carol Burnett thing that she did with the mop, and one of the stagehands or something like that, got sick, threw up in a bucket. She didn't know it, and she went and she grabbed.
Hey, somebody already told us that story.
Oh, you've heard that story, but see, that's my funny story.
Gotta do another
All
one.
the other ones are, okay, my first experience with snow. Evan, you should remember this one.
I got a picture of you.
See, I forget where we were, but it had snowed really heavy, and we got up. We were getting ready to leave that next morning, and I opened the door, and it was just white and beautiful. And all I could think in my head was, "Oh my God, I gotta make a snow angel!" And I dove down in the snow and did the snow angel. That was the most wonderful thing I had ever experienced in my little, I think at that time was a 20, in my 20-year-old life. That was like amazing. Then there was this time we went to this hotel, I don't know, I think it was in like I want to say Wyoming or something like that, and the hotel had an indoor pool, and it had all these little balls in the pool, and I thought that was the coolest thing. And to turn around some 20 years later on the road with Gladys Knight touring, we're playing up in nowhere, Wyoming, and we're staying at the same hotel, and I come in and I see, and it's the same pool with the same balls. That was just, it just took me back. You know, this is a wonderful experience. These are some very cool people. And the fact that it's been 30 years and everybody was so excited about getting together and reuniting, you know, for this one day, who knows when we'll see each other again. It's amazing that, you know, everybody wanted to be here. That was a good cast, because it's not always like that. So that's my little, you know, whatever to everybody in YA's Richard Rodgers tour. I love y'all. Y'all know I love you. And I wish the best for everyone. Bye.
Am I on?
You're on.
Well, one of my greatest memories is Renee on the mic on the bus. And she would talk and talk and talk and do Dinah Shore. And she'd go 5 minutes beyond where everybody got pissed. But after 5 minutes longer, everybody started laughing again. And that's one of my favorite memories of the tour.
Young Americans tour. Bologna sandwiches, M&Ms and apple juice. Wondering where my costume went. The most special times of tour that I remember are the relationships that I have. 30 years gone by, and within seconds I can think of really special times. But I think the most important thing for me growing up and working through difficult times on the tour and making me the person I am today. But the most special thing were the relationships I had with every single person. I can think of something really wonderful with every single person on tour. And even with apprehension and anxiety and nervousness to come back here today, knowing that everyone that I saw would welcome me and love me and make me feel special. And I am so thankful for Jill and Jim putting this together and the special memories I have from my life. Thanks.
What I remember, or one of the many things that I remember, was with Renee when we used to do the Do I Hear a Waltz. At some point, for some reason, they made me start singing the Prince part. And I remember we would do a dance, and Renee would do this turn in front of me, and there was more than one occasion where she would reach back and she'd undo the Velcro on the belt for the Prince outfit. And she would do that and things would start sagging, and so I'd have to kind of make sure things didn't fall, and I'd look at her and she'd just have that smile and she'd keep doing her stuff. And so one night I was really bad. To get back at her, I came out and I had snuck some, I think it was Crest, toothpaste in my hand. And so when she did that turn in front of me, I somehow moved my hand up to her face and I smeared the toothpaste across her mouth, and the look on her face was priceless. And I felt like, okay, I have my retribution. It made me happy. But it was one of the funniest things, and it's a story that I've told many times since.
Hello? Am I on? Oh, he's going, yes, hurry up. God, you're on. Okay, okay, during setup, do I look at you or him? Him, hi. Hi. During setup in first crew, or second crew, when we all were on stage and everybody was setting up, Bob Co would sing and hum as she wants to do.
Rolled the floor up.
And while she sang and sang and sang. And Bob very, very politely, I mean, not so as not to Stromberg, Bob Stromberg, so as not to ruffle any feathers, as he would never want to do.
Right.
He would say, "Co, your mother called," and they'd say, "What'd she say?" She said, "Save your voice." It was also for Reggie.
Yeah.
And for Jeff Johnson. And
when we did it for Jeff, I've got Jeff's here, Evan. When Bob would say to Jeff, he would say, Jeff, your voice teacher called. And what would he say, Jeff, your voice teacher called? And
voice teacher called, he wants your vibrato back.
Yeah. Something like that. Chris?
Like the vibrato called today and said, I'm sorry, Jeff's vibrato can't make it today. He's busy. So, yeah. We were hoping his vibrato would show up, but he's not going to make it.
Campbell.
So I don't want to be myself in the center here, but I just wanted to make sure that we all send our love to each other and cheers, and so excited that we're all together and thinking about the people that aren't here with us and gone forever, and some that are not gone forever, some that are just not here.
But they sent mariachis.
They sent mariachis. That was from Bob Moyen, by the way. He sent the mariachis. There's a note here from Susie and a note from Bob, I think. Yeah. And then there's this ongoing thing of black and white photos that Don Hayashi sent me. We've got videos and all kinds of stuff to watch out there if we want to. And Jermaine's been practicing his music so we can sing some songs. Yeah, pockets of music for everybody, so we're going to sit down and sing for a while. Thank you, Renee. That's if we can get everybody together a little bit. So anyways, here's to all of us. And thanks to Jill.
Here's to Jill.
Here's to Jill and Bill.
Hi everyone. Well, one of the stories that I have been reminded of today, thanks to Rex and Evan, is that there was a theater in Chickasha, Oklahoma, and the loading dock was on the second floor, and all the equipment had to be lifted by a pulley and to get into the loading dock, and then after the show, as you remember, we had the slide projectors on the two small rolling units, and I must have been the one to take the slide tray out of the projector, and I placed it on a ledge, a little second floor ledge, and we left them there. We left the slide trays in Chickasha. I had forgotten about this story until Rex reminded me today. I don't remember how we got the slide trays back, but at some point we must have discovered it, and someone must have driven back, is the only thing I can think of. So that's one of the stories that I can remember, and I'm really blessed and glad that Jill was able to contact me, so I was able to be here today, and it's been great to see everybody. Thanks.
Ready? Here we go. My girl's the kind of girl for steady company. It's steady company that I prefer.
She's very short and I didn't do that one.
I wasn't even on the tour and I know all the words.
I know.
Stay Fox is here!
Wait. I gotta hug this guy first. I gotta get a little jiggle camera for the Republicans.
I was there for beauty. By the way,
I have to go.
Good job, Lee.
I'm dying to read it.
Speaking of love,
Love, that's actually.
I'm not gonna let Bob rush you.
The haunted house where? Yes.
that's good, Jill.
Jill, it's a little messy. You have a mustache.
Fly on her nose, Jill.
Remember Renee?
I do want to come up with some story though. Outside of Jackie Goucher's
Renee's hair, I'm kind of lost. Okay. But but Kelly did remind me a story about a fire, and we tried to save the bus, and we kept on telling Freddie, the bus driver, you have to come and save the bus because it's going to be on fire because there was smoke everywhere from a hotel we were in. But other than that, and Jackie Goucher's oil on Renee's hair, I'm lost. Oh, I thought of a story just now. Okay, Dorothy saved my life because when we got in that crash, and I was like zinging out, I think I was listening to headphones, I was like this, all of a sudden Dorothy takes my head and slams it down into the ground. But she was slamming it into the back of the seat to keep me from doing like whiplash, and then we went off the road into a ditch. She was awake, so she kind of saved my life.
If you're a singer, you better get in there.
You're a singer? Okay, I'm going to keep talking. She's a singer. That's a singer right here. Got to go.
Come on, sing it, girl.
I'll go. Actually, this is the young one that saved her life. I mean, this is who saved her life.
She has saved my life on tour. I could be sitting there with no teeth and cuts and gashes in my face and everything. So,
but fortunately, she saved her life.
Okay.
So we're gonna go sing.
How's that? We're gonna sing that good?
You're singing? Great. No, not enough.
Wait, you never talked to
Get in there. Go sing.
Okay, let's go sing. We're being called to sing.
Hello, I'm Vanessa Brown. I was on the tour. I was actually the drummer, dressed in all white on the top of the Santa Maria. And I still am a musician today. And the story I just wanted to share, I think it's been shared before, but I was one of those really involved with the story. And this was me and Renee and I think Coco Spencer. And I think there was another person, I'm not sure. But we were, I don't remember what city, but it was in a theater. We were in, backstage we never had restrooms in the dressing room. So you always had to go out in front and use the lobby one or something. So we all went up to use the restroom. And Renee Lacroix was one of the ones with us. And we all went at the same time. And I think they didn't have enough stalls, so Renee had to wait outside of the stalls. And the other girls and myself, we went in. And we were all sitting there. And Renee was hearing noises outside from the stalls. So Renee, being Renee, was very loud and commenting on the noises she was hearing coming from one of the stalls. So in between the noises, there was a little space, and you'd hear Renee say, "Golly!" And indeed, a little silence there, and we all kind of just sit there. And then another noise, and Renee would say, "What's going on?" And a little space, and then you'd hear more noises, and Renee finally said, "You must have to clear it off the walls in there." Well, then we come out of the stalls, and Renee is realizing she's talking not to us, but to some other person who we didn't know, probably a public person, because we were in the public bathrooms that were in the lobby. And we all just ran out of there because Renee just embarrassed all of us, and we didn't want to get caught by whoever this was that was making the noises, because she knew it had to be cast people because we were the only ones in there. So it was just a story I'll never forget. We were in tears the whole time running out and running backstage and realizing Renee had just totally blown this thing crazy. So that's just my story. We have, everybody has tons of tour stories. That's one I will always remember because it was just hilarious. But it was great to be here, great to be a part of the cast. It was definitely a molding period in my life that helped me grow. Like I said, now I am a musician, but all the things that I went through, learned on tour, learned as a musician, learned from Milton, learned by being a young American, doing the task of setting up, tearing down, loading in, loading out. Mic cords. I can wrap a mic cord, and many people don't know how to even do that. So all these things I've always carried with me, and they are always a part of my life. I always look back to Young Americans definitely as my beginning stage of being in this business and being able to tolerate it and smile through it all, because we always made the show go on. As Milton said, make it work, and that's what we did. Thanks for having me. Thanks, Jill. Everybody on there, thanks. Good to have. I love everybody. Thanks for being my friend and always at my side. I know I can always call on my Young American family for whatever. God bless. Take care. Love everybody. Bye-bye.
We had 30 years ago.
We got you into all of this.
Yes, you did. That's what
it's your fault.
Hello, young lovers, whoever you
treat on the chance that you meet and you meet. Not really by chance. Don't cry, young lovers, whatever you do.
Top of the page.
Don't cry, because I'm alone. All our good memories are happy tonight. I've had a love like yours.
Middle of the second page.
I had a love of my own like yours. I've had a love of
Thank you, everybody.
Just so that you know, I don't know anyone here, and that gave me goosebumps. I was thinking, back at
Thanks, Tom. Hey, Jimmy, let him talk.
For a bunch of old
More than that. You guys we knew for a period of our life, okay? A very special period. Milton it was great seeing the video. We were here.
It's the bologna sandwiches and the high
Hey, Jimmy, tell the story how you got Jim in.
How we got Jim May.
Oh my God.
Carter's crying again.
It was a couple of Twinkies and a cupcake.
No, tell the story. How did you find Jim? Because Jim wasn't part of us. Jim May was.
Jim, we met, we were doing the shows for a place called Marriott's Great America, Illinois, in Chicago. And he was playing piano and also conducting one of the bands. They had two bands, we ran double shows. And he was great. And along the way, somehow, he was
Music Man.
teaching. Yeah, we were doing Music Man at the Lincolnshire Theater there. Jeff, did you ever? I don't know if you ever played.
They didn't have black people in music videos.
I played Marcel. He's red green.
We built the sets and we moved the
Some things never change.
But Jim, we thought was really good, and he was teaching at that time. Jim was teaching, and he didn't seem to be very pleased with it. We said, well, we're going up this summer to do a show up in Michigan with the group called the Young Americans. And he said, oh, wow, should I? But I said, there's one danger. I said, once you go, you're going to...
Sherry, right back. The opening was there.
First time listeners. The fact was, we warned warned him that once you go, you're not gonna come back. Get out.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
And you know, sure enough, when he offered him to go on tour, we said, Jim.
They warned me. But I'm sure glad it worked out all right.
But Jim, I just want to say, love, love.
Love, love. Okay, now we're going to...
Hi, I'm Scooter Martin, or Campbell Martin as I prefer to be called. Anyway, I'm not quite sure I was on this tour because everything this weekend, I don't remember anything about it. I'm not sure about anything. But one recollection I have is about Bev Wisniewski doing a lift with her. In my ear, during the lift, her legs are straight above my head, and she said, "Scooter, I'm peeing." And she really did land with her legs spread eagle into my lap, squish, and giggled off. And I turned around, felt myself, and I had been peed upon by Bev Wisniewski. That's the only thing I remember of the tour. That, and I think that, was Bob Stromberg in this show? Who? He was that natural blonde.
Platinum?
Yeah, but it's natural.
Oh, it's natural.
Yeah,
yeah. I don't know. I'm not. Stromberg.
I think that's what it's. Stromberg.
You sure it wasn't Stromboli?
That could be it.
Bob Stromboli.
That's
who it was. I remember it. I'm Dave Bartz, and I have one memory when we were doing rehearsal, and Milt was so mad because he couldn't get the synth up loud enough, and Velty, I can imagine the discussion going with Velty and him out there, and Velty going, "Look, I push up the thing, listen, it's you get this hum with this thing," and this was new technology, I had no idea what to do, and Milton grabs the mic and says, "You're gonna have to figure this out, Bartz," and I picked up the mic and I was mad because I didn't know what to do, and I said, "Milton, I have no clue how to do this. People have, staff here that have thousands of dollars in equipment and people trying to figure these things out, and I have no idea. But, Milton, you were right. I wish, I know now what to do. I know exactly know what I would do. But more importantly, and I've been feeling this all night tonight, I owe you, Milton, big time. Because this has probably been one of the highlights of my life to be associated with this group. I love each and every one of the people here tonight, and I love you so much for making this all happen. You're amazing. Okay, see you.
Evan, one more thing. I just want to tell you all that Dave and I were lovers on the tour.
Darling, we weren't gonna let this out.
I know, sweetie. Don't tell anyone. God.
Hi, I'm Bob. This is Chris.
Hi.
Kristen. Listen, during the children's section at one night in the show, you know how we had the white floor mats that we'd have to roll out? Sometimes the theater's too small, too big, so at the end, let's say if it was a small theater, there would be a big roll of white, extra. Well, we're watching the children's section, Mark Bose is standing there, and
we're laughing,
threatening, we're laughing, kidding, like we're going to do something,
yeah.
and then we do it. We actually push him on stage.
He falls backwards over the roll onto the stage, middle of the children's section. Bob and I start screaming because we know Corky's going to make us bleed.
He's in the middle of the show's going on.
Corky's going to make me bleed. He's going to make me bleed. He's going to make me bleed. And we're screaming, laughing, crying.
Then Corky comes to the stage left. We're in the 6th wing.
Because he's out in the house.
Yeah.
He sees the whole thing.
In that second scream thing we doodle, and we're just still laughing. Mark has come off stage, and now he's mad and stuff. And we're like, "Oh my gosh, Corky, he's gonna kill us! He's gonna kill us!" And he was there, and this is what he said.
So he comes backstage.
And I'm
to me, only me.
Yeah.
Everybody else is there, and he goes, "Chris, you're out the rest of the show."
He kicked her out.
I'm like, I have 6 solos coming out, and he kicks me out of the show. So I go find Bev, who's the line captain. I go, "Bev, Corky kicked me out of the show. What do I do?" Corky goes in the house because he's so mad he can't even look at me. He's so mad. And Bev's like, "You gotta go on. Go on. I'm overriding Corky. You won."
Why did he?
You talked to me for 3 days. Not for 3 days. Did you speak to me? Because it's me.
Why not Mark?
Because it's me.
Mark should have been kicked out too. So there's a shout out to Mark Bose.
Love you, Mark.
Love you guys.
Thanks for the fruit. Love the fruit.
Bye,
Love you.
I remember something, and I get the privilege of remembering it every day. Because in Grants Pass, Oregon, on the 31st day of October 1978, I became, what's the word I'm looking for? It was the beginning of my relationship with Julie Turner, and she became my wife in 1982, and we now have 4 children, and it's because of our time in Grants Pass, Oregon, that happened. That began the marriage of Rex and Julie Clement. That's all.
More makeup on. And there'd be like cracks.
Oh, so I mean, you could write your name and what we did on our cheeks. It was horrible. But I remember at the end of that show, you're coming out, right? And we used to, when you'd sing, "There's a bright golden haze on the meadow," and whatever it's called, and I'd say, "Hey, Curly."
Anyway, what was that for me too?
And I remember doing this way to get my baby powder in your face. Go like this, because I put my baby powder in my hair. Well, I mean, here, imagine I had oil in my hair, and then I put the baby powder and a plaster of Paris head. It was just horrible. How about that? No, but my favorite is that there is still, I'm sure this lady is still in the stall.
We told this. I heard this for the first time.
Tell everybody else though, because they're.
Because, and she was a little house.
Jim May told this story.
No,
Who was in the bathroom? Well, for sure Vanessa was right. Who else?
And I heard it was Vanessa.
I thought it was
And Start from the beginning and tell them what happened.
Bathrooms in the back.
No,
and we went to the public
lobby.
the lobby.
Yeah, because for whatever reason, wherever we were, should go home or something like that, we didn't have toilets in our bathrooms, in the dressing rooms. So we had to go out and use the lobby toilets, which was the public toilets, where our paying customers were coming in. So anyway, I remember we were wearing overalls and all that that time and so I said, I'm making a potty run. Anybody want to go to the bathroom? And Vanessa came and Co and somebody else. And I remember, you know, it was like 6 of us going in there. So we went in there, and there was maybe 5 stalls. And so I, being the nice, generous person I was, stayed back, and so the rest of you could go to bed. And so I'm sitting there by myself, just joking. I'm sitting here by myself. Sitting here by myself, and over here in stall number 1, this gal is just letting loose. I mean, just major gas. Major, and I, you know, it's Vanessa, and so I'm saying, she's redeemed in a moment here. I'm thinking it's Vanessa, so I'm saying, gosh, Vanessa, come on, scrape it off the walls. Gosh, Vanessa.
There was space between all of this lady's splendor, so every time she did it, Ray would say something. This was the last of the series. When she finally said, "Dog, Vanessa, you can scrape it off the wall up there."
Oh my gosh!
And I came out and I'm like,
Vanessa came out in that stall over there, and then Chloe came out, and then Angela or somebody else came out, and I realized, oh my god, all our people are in the stalls. Who's in that stall? And we're running out, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is a paying person coming to see our show. And then, so we're dying, right? We're absolutely dying. Well, then comes the beginning of the second act, where we say our name, and they hear our speaking voice. And I remember Jill passing the mic to me, and it hit me right then. I went,
How can I change my voice?
I mean, exactly. And I grabbed the mic and went, hi, my name's Renee LeBlanc. That poor woman is still in that stall. Oh, horrible.
Does anybody remember the bus crash?
Oh, God. Yeah.
Any personal stories about that?
I remember turning because I was talking to the driver at the time, and he said, turn and tell everybody to brace themselves. And for some reason, you know, the lack of logic in my mind was, okay, if I jump as I'm yelling, I'll propel myself away from the impact. Good. Boy, and it got me the Superman shirt. He bought that for me at the opening of the grand opening. You know, you were blonde back then. It's okay. And so I jumped, but all the way, I'm flying through the air, hitting every one of the seats with my elbow, and then we hit the, you know, whatever, the truck in front of us. So it didn't do any good. Brace yourself!
Did the bus car crash?
Yeah.
Okay.
Work with us.
Okay, did you tell about the time when Corky when he got hit in the head?
No. Oh yeah.
I
forgot about it.
Okay, all I remember is that Chris. Where's Chris?
You might be right, Mark. I think it was that same.
I think it was that same night because it was like catastrophe after
Right, and
catastrophe.
I came out, what's wrong? And Corky was like passed out and got hit in the head with a hammer. No,
With the
and Chris was hysterical, that's all I remember, and Corky got taken away. And someone said,
Keep going. That was
Berkeley.
That was that night.
That was that night. Keep going.
Was it Berkeley?
Yes, Berkeley.
All happened in Berkeley. Okay, and all I know is someone said, Bev, you're in charge.
Go ahead.
Okay, so here we are at this reunion that just sort of miraculously came together, and I was a little bit apprehensive about doing this whole thing. And about, I don't know, an hour or so into the whole festivities, I was talking to my partner and said, you know, like, you're not really bored, are you? And he said, no, this is really fascinating. And I said, why? He said, because really intense experience. 6 months together on a bus, on the road, is something that you don't really experience except with families. And I was thinking, you know, you're in showbiz, and you do shows, and you're together for a month, and you do, you know, or 6 weeks, you do 2 weeks of rehearsal and 4 weeks of performance. And everybody says, oh, you know, you're the best in the world, you know, I love you, let's get together. And you exchange emails and stuff, and then you're gone, and you lose contact with them. And it's just really extraordinary to have these feelings flood back. And it's really a beautiful thing. That's it.
Well, basically, for me, the Richard Rodgers cast was my favorite. They were young, youngest probably that I've ever worked with, but so full of love, so full of trust, so full of need. And for me, being Mama Sue's, wow, you know, to be able to have taken care of them, loved them, worried about them, and to know the bond that they've got as a group, how special that is. Not saying that every tour isn't special, but there's just something incredibly unique about the Richard Rodgers cast. Their bond, their friendships, their love, and the way they look at life. It's just a truly inspiration to me still to this day. We talk about them to the current kids. We talked about them all summer long to these kids this summer that performed their music 30 some years later with Milt on stage. So I was just telling Evan how surreal for me. Bill Carey taught me to be a company manager. I then go manage Jill Carey with Richard Rodgers. Then a couple summers ago I get Danny Carey. And then last summer I get Hannah from Julie and Rex, their daughter. And this summer it was Lori Klein and David Klein's daughter, Natalie. So for me to just know that the cycle continues, you know, of what the kids get from the Young Americans, and I know what that Richard Rodgers group got from the Young Americans, is a constant daily cycle in their life. None of them don't feel it every day, the bond. So how hard for me not to have been there? When Bob Stromberg asked if he could buy me a ticket, I said, it's not that. He said, well, you were always the glue that held us together. And I said, well, the glue's not dry at Boyne. And I do live for it. I do live for still teaching, mentoring, whatever I can give these kids that are still in the organization, because it's a little different than when we were in. The outreach tours don't really make the money that we made, and we don't have this full-time staff like they had when I was in. So to teach these kids the business and the kind of people that taught me, we don't have that for the kids now. So I do feel very passionate about passing down what Bill Carey gave me, what Ruth Carpenter gave me, to the current kids that want to keep the group alive in the future on the business end. So was it hard for me not to be at your reunion? Every moment. Did I not know that you guys were having the most special reunion probably ever the Young Americans will ever have? Yes. Am I honored that the love of a Bob Kavoyan to do what he did, and his messages, and all the messages to me from everyone? I thank you all. I love you all. Jim May and Jill, thank you so much for putting it together. I know what that meant, and I'm sorry for getting emotional over it, but I do. You guys were babies. You were young at heart then, and I'm sure you still are now. And the Richard Rodgers tour was the finest thing I think Mr. Anderson and Jim Bates ever produced. Incredible. And we got to produce some of it again this summer, and we gave it to a lot of people that had not the same experience, but close to it again this summer. And I think it took the Young Americans to another level in Michigan. The Richard Rodgers music that Milt gave them this summer put us back on the map again, in a different way than we've been in Michigan for a long time. So what you guys gave people 30 some years ago, the kids in the current group tried so hard to give in this show this summer. They absolutely wanted to make you guys proud. And Natalie Klein, when she walks out and Mr. Anderson says, it's your turn. How incredible that we have an organization that Danny and Hannah and Natalie can hopefully gain the same life experiences that their parents had. So all of you, wherever you are, I love you, and keep up the cycle of the love machine, giving the love out, giving it to everybody. And I love Evan for what he's done for the organization to keep the history alive. Thank you, Evan. And I love you all. I guess that's all I can say.
Hello, all you wonderful people. How many years ago was it? 20, 30,
30.
40,
30.
30?
Yeah.
Some of you are getting gray like me. Some of you have lost their hair like I am. Some of you are getting a little stiff like I am. But you're still here. And I remember you guys when you were standing in front of a windmill and doing Rodgers, Oklahoma. And you were wonderful, and you still are. And I think it's really mean of you to have a get-together out in California when we can't come there, because I'd like to see each and every one of you and shake your hand and hear about your life and all of that. Thanks, Jill, for having them all together out there. And I'd like you to meet now a gentleman whom you all know, Mr. Bill Brawley.
Thanks, Milt. For those of you that don't know, we do a thing called pre-Boyne. That means 5 concerts before the Boyne show. And it's a 2-hour concert, and it helps promote the summer, and it just brings music to this area. So I thought it'd be a great idea this year, talking with Milt, to have the kids learn some of the Richard Rodgers music that you guys created, the original cast doing the music, so they could feel the heritage of the group and feel that beautiful strength from you guys. So they did 5 songs, and they ended the show with Oklahoma.
We did.
Just like you did.
We did Blue Room, and followed by Manhattan, and then we did Happy Talk, and then we did Favorite Things, and we ended up with Hello Young Lovers. And later in the show, they did the whole, due to Bill and Robin, they did the whole, well, not the whole show of Oklahoma, but a cutting of it.
So you guys, stories about you folks have been told a lot in the last 3 weeks to these young people, and they admire you a lot, and they want to thank you for creating a beautiful show that we took pieces from. Anything, honey?
No, I just want to say hello to everybody and thank you for being such great friends to all of us, and including us in your family, and we're there with you. We just put our arms around you and send lots of love for this great celebration. Love you.
And Susan?
Wow, I remember when Milt brought me to the Rodgers cast to meet them when they were out on tour. And
it was before we were married.
Yeah, and you were all so young and so talented, and it's so great to see some of your children. Natalie did such a wonderful job, Laura. You'd be so proud of her. She sounds just like you, and it's just so beautiful to see these kids singing what you sang. And I know your memories are great, and theirs are too. And Milt and I just celebrated 30 years. I remember when you met me, you didn't think we'd make it, I don't think. You were kind of doubtful, who's this girl that Milt's bringing? It was so funny. You were protecting him, but we've been together 30 years now, and it's been great to be able to be here tonight and to just wish you a happy time there. Love you all. Bye-bye.
And we wish we could bring our 2 little additions. We adopted a little black poodle and a little white poodle, and the black poodle's name is Buddy, and the little white poodle name is Angel. Angelica. Angel. Anyway, you would love to see them too. Thank you all. Hope you have a wonderful time. Anything more?
No. Have
Anything
fun.
more?
Have fun.
We're
Love
with
you.
you in spirit.
Bye.
All right. See ya.